What's going on YouTube? It's Tom here and we're back with another video today. This one is on two knives and two different steels. I was going to do them in two separate videos, but I feel like the videos would have been too short if I did them separately. So we're going to go ahead and just put them both in one video since both knives are from the same brand. If you guys like me doing that, let me know in the comments. If not, in future videos, if this ever happens again, I can split it up. Both of these knives were sent to me by the same person who sent me the Shiro Hation Light, as well as that custom and S90V. So thank you very much for sending these knives along. I know I've had them for a while. It's taken a while for me to get around to testing all of them. But I appreciate the patience and I appreciate the opportunity to test these knives and actually get to handle and see them in person. So in front of you, we have two TwoSun knives. I'm not sure of the model numbers. I think you guys are going to have to do a little bit of digging to figure that out. Because most of them are like TS and then 3 numbers. So if these are even still out there, both are really, really neat designs and definitely not something I would have personally checked out without them being sent to me. Build quality on both is excellent, but with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the knives. We're going to talk about the bottom one here first, the bigger one. This one is in M390, as you guys can see down here on the flipper tab. Interesting design too, kind of a like Quaken-esque design, but with like a reverse tonneau. It's different. Not a design I would have personally picked up without seeing it in person. We're not really going to go over the composition of M390 because I feel like it's been hammered home in so many videos by myself and others, so we're not really going to talk about it. As far as the specs on this one go, it is 152 thousandths for the stock, and it is 21 thousandths behind the edge, like right up in here, and it gets absolutely stupid thick up towards the tip. As you guys can see just how big that bevel gets towards the tip. It's about 40 thousandths behind the edge up there. That's sharpened at 18 degrees per side. So for those of you guys that like a reinforced tip, this is a good one. Personally, I'm not a fan of that, but it is a unique blade shape and a unique grind the way that it does that. So anyhow, this one we sharpen normal progression 200 to 1000 grit diamond on my wicked edge at 18 degrees per side. Stropped it with 16 and 4 micron CBN on leather, and the edge that came up was actually super crispy and nice. Whittled hair very, very easily, and just kind of the level of sharpness that you're looking for, honestly. So very impressed with the way that it sharpened, and it seemed to be heat treated decently well with that in mind. So I went ahead and tested that on the Walmart moving boxes, and the M390 cut 187.75 feet, which is kind of what I figured it was going to do for a cheaper knife like this in M390, or I guess I shouldn't say cheaper, but more budget-friendly knife that's titanium carbon fiber in M390. Not sure of the price on it, but I think most of these are right around like $125 and less. So 187.75 feet, not that great. Kind of what we've found with M390 for those knives that seem like they're too good of a deal to be true. And even on some higher end ones that use it, this is probably run a little bit on the softer side, like 58, 59, just kind of what we expect anymore, which is really unfortunate. And that pretty much just falls in line with what we've seen from M390 from a lot of companies. So that's really all I have to say about that knife. A little bit disappointing, but at the same time, not really surprised. So next up is the little knife here. This one is actually kind of interesting. This one, if you look, is in, see if maybe we can see it, S90V. So this was my second experience with S90V right after that custom one from a couple videos ago. And I was kind of curious to see how TwoSun's S90V would do. Kind of interesting that I think they're out of China at least. Kind of interesting to see S90V, an American steel, being shipped over there and them putting them in relatively inexpensive knives for the materials that you're getting. This one is carbon fiber and titanium as well, milled pocket clip. The whole design's super cool, actually. I really like this one. The only flaw I found with this one is that if you put any pressure whatsoever on that lock bar with your fingers, you're not getting the thing open. So that's something I didn't really like about this knife. But other than that, super cool. As far as the measurements go, stock thickness on this is 135 thousandths, and behind the edge thickness is 165 10 thousandths or 16 and a half thousandths. So pretty impressive for as far as geometry goes on a production knife. Composition, since we haven't really talked about S90V much, 2.3% carbon, 0.4% tungsten, 8 3/4 to 9% vanadium, which is where it should get most of its edge holding from. 14% chromium, so it is a stainless steel. 1% moly, 0.5% of manganese, 0.5% of silicon, and a couple other things thrown in there in trace amounts. So pretty high carbide steel just by looking at the composition. We went ahead and sharpened this with our normal progression with 200 to 1000 grit diamond at 18 degrees per side on my wicked edge, and then stropped it 16 and 4 micron. What I noticed about this S90V was that the burr was a little bit stubborn to pop off, which is never a good sign. Tells you that there's a little bit of retained austenite in there, and that the edge retention may not be the greatest. Makes the steel kind of softer and gummy, and I mean, that's just generally what you're not what you're looking for, honestly. So I didn't have too high of a hope for this S90V, especially being how easily it sharpened. It should be a higher carbide, more wear-resistant steel, so it should take a little bit longer to sharpen, but really it didn't, especially after reprofiling it to the 18 degrees per side. So I went ahead and tested this thing on the Walmart moving boxes as well, and we cut 183.33 feet, which is just downright disappointing. I mean, it's just a touch below what the M390 TwoSun did. And it falls right in line with a bunch of other steels around that same mark, which is kind of unfortunate because for S90V, a high carbide steel with 9% vanadium, you should be getting pretty darn high wear resistance. And in my opinion, probably should be up around the 300 to 400 foot mark. So I'm not really sure what's wrong with this steel. It really should have outcut the M390 for sure, considering that this is a much higher carbide steel, at least with vanadium carbides. I know this one has a little bit of, M390 has more chromium carbides in it as well as vanadium carbides. So, and vanadium carbides are harder, therefore should be giving it more wear resistance. For anyone I just lost, I'm sorry. But it really should have done better, which is really disappointing. So in my conclusion, I think something is either wrong with this steel, like their heat treat was way off, the process was way off, being that it was kind of stubborn to get that burr removed isn't a good sign that the process was good. So it's either that, or I think it's on the softer side, which is also disappointing. So that's really going to do it for this video. Those two knives from TwoSun that are really cool designs, and just had the steel underperforming a little bit on both of them. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Subscribe to continue to see more videos just like this one. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.